How's it going, YouTube? Reed here, back with another video, and today I am excited to talk about what I think is going to be the most important change coming in the 0.12 update for Escape from Tarkov. If the video and the camera look terrible, I'm not recording this off OBS that has, like all my presets. I'm just using the NVIDIA game capture. But I figured I would just throw this video together really quickly because I don't think this is getting enough coverage and attention, really. And I wanted to explain this to some people that maybe don't quite understand exactly what this patch note means and what this change means, and I wanted to explain why I think this is so important. So I want to give a quick shout out to Clean, who was the one that over stream talked about this change and why it's so important and helped me understand it, because I wanted to know a little bit more, and he went in depth. So big shout out to Clean. And if you guys want the patch notes yourself, I'll provide a link to those in the description box down below. It's on the subreddit and the EFT forums. So without any further ado, let's hop into it. So the particular change that I'm talking about today is the second bullet point on the patch notes. Redesigned, optimized, and added new third-person animations. I recently watched a couple different YouTubers review the patch notes, and a lot of the YouTubers that I've been watching just skimmed over this and acted like this wasn't that big of an issue. They were like, oh cool, new third-person animations. Go on to the hideout, which is getting all the attention, and I don't think people actually understand this bullet point enough to really bring enough attention to this. And today I figured I would go in depth and try to break down exactly what this means so people understand why it's so important and why I think this is going to make the game run incredibly smooth, or at least a lot smoother than it's currently running right now, possibly getting rid of stutters or the vast majority of them. So without any further ado, let's hop into Tarkov, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to, my best ability, to explain what exactly this means. Okay, so here I am in Escape from Tarkov, and before I even try to describe why I think this change is so important and really break this down, I think it'd be a good idea to just first give a base definition and a baseline definition for what a third-person animation is versus a first-person animation. So here in Escape from Tarkov, I got my character here, and I'm going to go ahead and dump this mag and go through the reload animation for an MP5. So we'll mag dump, and now that bolt handle's going to need to be brought back because we've emptied the mags. Let's go ahead and reload. All right. So a lot of us know that the animations in Escape from Tarkov are absolutely fantastic. Bolt releases, bolt catches on M4s get slapped properly. The work on the guns is very technical and looks very good and looks very proper. And these are really great animations. People love the animations in Escape from Tarkov, the first-person animations that you see as the player, looking at your hands and looking at the gun that you're manipulating. So what is a third-person animation? Well, a third-person animation in a video game is the animation that you see another player do, an animation from the third-person perspective. So let's say I had a scav here at this boiler tank / silo, whatever you like to call these bad boys, and he had emptied out his mag and he was going to go through a reload animation. I would see a scav carry out an animation from the third-person perspective. I would see him carry out the reload animation from the third person, watching him do it. And this goes for scavs, player scavs, and PMCs. There's a third-person perspective when you watch that player carry out an animation. Currently in Escape from Tarkov, the first-person animations match exactly to the third-person animations. There's no difference. So if I was to watch another PMC reload this MP5, they would dump the mag, they would go to reload the gun, they would bring back that bolt handle, and they would slap the bolt. And a lot of people think that this is probably a really great feature, right? It's very detailed. Not only do I get to see the detail as the player, but another player that's looking at me gets to see the detail, and the game looks fantastic. There's a lot of meticulous attention to detail, and it gives the game a very aesthetically pleasing look because everything that's going on in the world looks very detailed and looks very realistic. But the question is there a problem with this sort of animation approach? And let's go ahead and talk about a game like Call of Duty, where things are done a little bit differently. So in a game like Call of Duty, there's actually a difference between third person and first person animations. When you go to reload your gun in Call of Duty, which, we all know that animations in Call of Duty and games like Battlefield have definitely gotten better over the years. But when you go to carry out your reload animation, you definitely might see some attention to detail. You might see guns come in on a proper angle, especially when we're talking about pistols. You might see that pistol get pulled back to your character. You might actually see him hit that mag release, mag come out, mag fall. He might come in, bring it in at the right angle, tilt that pistol to the side, hit that bolt, hit the slide release, bring that gun back forward. There's going to be a lot of attention to detail. They've definitely gotten better over the years with that. But when you watch another player carry out an animation in a game like Call of Duty, you don't actually see all of that detail. Instead, when you're watching another player carry out an animation, typically it's a lot less detailed and it's a lot closer to them just running their hands over the gun. A lot of times they might bring that gun back, but you're just going to kind of see and there's not a lot of attention to detail. They're not hitting specific buttons. They're not bringing the gun to the exact angle that you would want optimally to bring up that mag, get that mag in the mag well and bring the gun out forward. There's not a lot of attention to detail. And in a lot of times, you might not even see mags come out of the gun, and you might not see bolts and slides move forward and back. So what does this mean? Well, this means that the world looks a lot less realistic and detailed, something that gives Tarkov kind of its whole vibe. People love Tarkov for how it looks, and how it looks not only from your perspective, but when you're looking at your friends playing and your squad mates. And in a game like Call of Duty, this sort of split between first and third person animations definitely dulls the world down a little bit and makes it a little bit less realistic and makes it a little bit less immersive. But there's actually a huge reason why this sort of mechanic, a split between first and third person animation, exists, and it's all about performance. When I go ahead and carry out this reload in Escape from Tarkov, there's a lot of data here, okay? There's a lot of attention to detail. I haven't dumped this mag. Let's say we dump this mag and I go to reload. There's a lot of attention to detail here. That bolt handle needs to come in at a certain angle. He's gonna slap that bolt the right way. There's a lot of detail here, especially when it even comes to things like fire selector switches. There's a lot of detail here. And the problem with a game that doesn't split between first and third person perspective animations is that when I go to carry out this animation, not only am I downloading all of the information for this sort of animation, but so is every other player, every other client on the server. This means that every single time a reload is carried out or a med is used, that sort of animation is downloaded and has to be pulled to every single client on the server. And as you guys can imagine, when you're downloading and pulling that much data for all those animations, that's very, very stressful on the server, because you're not getting a simplified version on your screen. All the other clients aren't getting a simplified version. They need to pull the same detailed first-person animation amount of data. They need to pull all of that to their client as well so that they see the same thing. And if you guys have ever wondered why there's so many stutters in Escape from Tarkov, it's for this exact reason. When you're playing Call of Duty, you're not downloading and pulling all of that data when, the 80 players on a blackout server are all reloading their guns. The game would be entirely laggy. The reason why Call of Duty is so smooth is that the animations that all the other clients are pulling for each person's first-person animation, all of the other 79 third-person animations that need to be pulled for every one first-person animation is a much simplified version. It's much less data. It's much less strenuous on the server because all of that data transfer doesn't need to happen to every single client. When the devs talk about this redesigned, optimized, and added new third-person animations, what they're talking about is that the third-person animations now will be split from the first-person animations, hopefully resulting in is incredibly increased performance, because there's no longer going to be super strenuous, data getting pulled every single time someone's carrying out an animation. And in a game like Escape from Tarkov, where, we have some incredibly detailed animations, this sort of thing can create a lot of problems when there isn't a split. And the devs now have implemented this change, and I think that this is going to lead to much less stutters, because it isn't required anymore for all of the clients to see the same exact detailed animations on their screen for every single time someone in the first person, goes to reload their gun. Let me know what you guys think about this change. And for those that may have even a better understanding of this concept than I do, leave a comment section down below and let me know if this is the sort of thing that is going to change Tarkov's performance, or if you think there's going to be a much bigger reliance on and dependency on the Unity engine change, or if you think just this change alone is going to really affect the performance for the better. I personally think it does. I think Tarkov is a game that, while it's incredibly immersive, it runs this way in its current state for a reason, because there's a lot of shit going on. And while a lot of you might say, well, isn't a game where the third-person animations and the first-person animations are the same, isn't that the future? A game that's detailed, a game that's immersive, a game that pays attention to meticulous, movements and animations from the characters models in the game? And I think the answer to that question is yes. I think we should be working towards a game that features detailed animations, not only for you as your own player from the first person, but also from the third person. But I think right now a lot of us in Tarkov would much rather prefer increased performance over some of the really unreasonable and just not necessarily really not necessary attention to detail and meticulous details that are available when you're actually in the raid that you see. I think we would much rather prioritize and have increased performance. Let me know what you guys think about the 0.12 wipe and, more specifically this change. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. I'm definitely excited for the hideout and a much more seamless gaming experience in and out of raid. I think that's going to really add to the immersion of Escape from Tarkov even more than, the immersion factor already exists. I think it's there, but I think this is really going to take the game to the next level. Thank you guys for watching and supporting. Be sure to like, subscribe, and check out the links to both my Discord and Twitch down in the description box down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.